2 days ago I ordered some plants online, and these are plants I've been willing to try for quite some time now. Their name is Echinodorus Tennellus, but it's one of the smallest Echinodorus species available in our aquarium hobby. The Echinodorus Tennellus is often used as a carpet plant, and I'm about to try this in my aquarium myself. I know that this plant does not do well without additional carbon dioxide in your tank. So if you don't have that, then this plant is not for you. I've also heard that these plants need a soil or aquarium substrate that contains a lot of nutrients. And I don't have that in my aquarium. I just have plain sand and gravel. However, I will be adding root taps to my aquarium, and I will also be dosing my aquarium with liquid fertilizer. Now, as you can see, this plant propagates in a very funny way. It actually creates runners across the substrate, and from those runners the new plants shoot up. Look, I can show you. As you can see, these tiny plants, I needed to focus. These tiny plants are interconnected with runners. So this plant right here is an older plant, and it's shooting smaller plants from the main plant. And this way you get a completely interconnected grid of plants. In the past, I've planted a lot of plants by just using my fingers and pushing them down in the substrate. Then last week I tried these tools, and they are a lifesaver. So if you're planting any kind of plants in your aquarium substrate, make sure you at least consider getting some of these, and I'll show you why. So let's get to it and plant some Echinodorus Tennellus in my aquarium. I'm going to plant it here in the front because they're not growing that tall. Now, before I get into actually planting them, I'm going to use a pair of scissors to cut loose a couple of plants because I don't want them to be intertwined at the first place. So as you can see right here, I'm going to leave these two small ones on, but this is going to be my main focus. Now I'm going to use these pliers to grab them like this. Just focus for a second. And then I'm going to push the roots into the soil. Now that I'm trying to get these plants to stick in my aquarium substrate, I've got time to give you some facts to make this video a true care guide. First thing, often when you buy these plants in the store, these plants are going to be grown immersed or out of the water. That means that their leaves are not going to be the same when they are settled in your aquarium. So what you see in the store is not what you get. As soon as you buy them, plant them in your aquarium, they're going to look like they're dying. They're shedding their immersed grown leaves. This is normal, so don't worry and don't take them out. This plant needs additional CO2 or carbon dioxide in your water. You need to inject CO2, which does not make it a beginner plant because carbon dioxide can be expensive to get the right equipment. It also needs aquarium soil, or at least it's a root feeding plant, so it relies on its roots to suck up nutrients from the soil. If you don't have it, like me, then the chances are slim of your plant surviving, but you can compensate for that by adding liquid fertilizer or add root taps into the substrate. Finally, you're going to find this plant under the name pygmy chainsword as well. It's a very common name. That's another name for the Echinodorus Tennellus. Back to the video. As you can see, not all the plants want to go in immediately, but it's going to take some struggle in order to get them into the right spot. Now, if you're about to cover your entire aquarium with these small Echinodorus plants, then you need to think about something, because believe it or not, it's gonna take quite some time and patience to get them, like I'm struggling right now, to get them to stay in the right spot. And during that time, you have to make sure that the rest of your plants don't dry out. So I'm only planting a dozen of plants, and during that time I don't have to worry about that. But when the plants dry out, they can actually die, and that would be a waste of your money and not what you want. Alright, so I'm done. It took me about 10 minutes. And there are a couple of things you should know if you're planning to do the same. I do not expect these plants to stay put at the place where I put them. So probably in a couple of hours, one or two of them are going to get loose and float around the tank. So what you need to do then is just put them back where you want and have some patience. Again, you can see a lot of the roots of the plants still sticking out because you can't bury all the roots. Maybe if you're very patient and try very hard. These roots will disappear in a couple of days, up to a week maybe, and then it will already look a lot better. So now what I have to do is make sure that these plants get enough nutrients. If they don't, then you'll see that they're going to die away. But I'll keep you guys updated on my channel, so make sure to subscribe. And I need to make sure the CO2 I'm adding is enough, because right now I'm only adding 1 bubble every 2 seconds, which is not a lot of injected CO2, especially for a aquarium of this size. So make sure you leave a like if you liked it. If you've got any questions about these plants or any other plants, make sure you leave them down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.